Greetings, peace and blessings to all, harmony, something. Ooh, because we all need it in this. But give honor to Source. Give honor, gratitude to the greats that came before us, ancestors, known and unknown. Give honor to the patriarchal and the matriarchal. The dark and the light, baby, because it's important. Ooh, circulation. Anywho, let's get into this. This light is okay. Yeah, that's better. All right. Just so many things, just bling, 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 bling. Like, those of you that know, like, it's amazing. At the same moment, it's just what it is. How do I begin this? Woo. Big mama, help me, give me some strength. Okay, let's see here. Whew. Okay, we're gonna speak on that first. This is most likely gonna help, well, set divine intentions, of course, that it's gonna do what it do. It's from a place of love, and yeah, we're gonna speak in some things like, I gotta start this off. It's so fucking funny. Okay, the dismantling. If you're wondering why it seems like everything is being turned upside down, I'm gonna speak on from the depths. You know what I'm saying? If we want to use hood terms, it ain't even the hood, because the hood pulled over now. Oh, you know what? I wanted to start this video. It's like this. I'm gonna give you a demonstration of what's really going on here. It's like this right here. Woo, and that's fire. This is gonna be the theme for this one. This is what's happening right now. You remember when, let's say, Darth Vader, see, like, the darkness, and him telling the truth, like, Luke, I am your father. Like, look, I am your father. You know what I'm saying? But, okay, anywho. So it's like, I was telling my nephew, I was like, hey, young king, I was like, you probably don't know about the Predator. But I said, those of you that do know, when he was like, in the movie, if you haven't seen it, go watch. And he removed his mask. And then it was like, it's like the ugly truth. That's perfect. That's what I'm going to title this, The Ugly Truth. And actually, it's like you know how the saying goes, ignorance is bliss. But this goes back to even now, those of you that aren't familiar with astrology, but will come to know that in the future, what's actually happening is things becoming more spiritual. This is what, like, a part of the awakening is. Because, so, just get it out. This is having to do with, and this is another thing. When spirit is trying to get something out of you, like, I don't know who else goes through this. I feel like when I gotta have water nearby, certain pains or aches come up. This is also a part of, like, spiritual awakening. Because the more you become more in tune, you will realize how much more of the spirit soul aspect that you are energetically, and like how you perceive life from your spiritual eye, and then how the spirit is connected to the physical. So that being said, it's like, as you become more in tune, this is why a lot of people go through their diet changes, if you want to call it that, the food, all these different phases, which really are all aspects of ourselves in a sense, but it's all like a part of your awakening and to becoming more in tune with the Christ or the God consciousness or source or the connection to spirit within you rather than externally. Because this is why now the veil has been lifted, and then this is why all of this is coming to light. So, even going back, Spirit wants me to talk about, like, how I tell people, like, even in the Americas, the reason why the vocal point is so focused on the Americas, or what some may call T Marie or Ta Marie, and you can research that, is being that what our mission here, and even those that came before us, because it's like the emotional attachment is causing has in the past caused um so much suffering in the physical aspect, or what we've seen so much of now being broadcasted of how people have been treated, or the origins of a people, melanated or ancient melanated people, have been treated, not just here but globally. But the vocal point, it being here, is because I'm going to talk about even how the so-called Americas is having their Pluto return. You can research these things and then take what resonates, receive what resonates, because we're not in that spirit of taking. We're in that place of healthy exchanges now. We're in that place of holistic. This is what's happening holistically. Because, okay, being that those that are familiar or those that internationally will come to this video and see why so many things here are happening and what connects us globally, because of ancestrally what connects us. So, and collectively, because this is more now of a collective consciousness or a collective awakening. July 4th, 1776, got my notes over here, I say about 248 years, is when what they call the Declaration of Independence was signed. So for those who don't know, America was created upon Cancerian energy, Cancer, or Kepri, or the mother, or maternal energy. Now, if you go research and learn about, how this negative connotation of what Cancer is, even that term, I don't even like using that, because you have to see how the powers that used to be, or so many things have been manipulated now to put more of an attachment emotionally to something evil, negative, or bad. Even a sense of how people hear, like how a man and woman of melanin or ancient or darker is perceived due to the televised, or due to what has been televised, of how we are, or how television had perceived us to be, like angry and imbalanced or crazy in all the sense. And the truth of the matter is that a lot of what we've experienced is we have a right to feel this way, because our doing to the land that we have been on, due to the connection of what mentally, spiritually, and physically our people have endured through that 248 years, and not to mention before that, the conditioning, the programming. Now the awakening is releasing those spells, dispelling that narrative of, the racial and economic disposition, if I may use that term correctly. But I don't, yeah. But the thing is that the importance of the Americas being built upon this energy was now to accumulate all that pain, what was hidden, as you can see the shadow, what was hidden in the darkness, now to be exposed in the light. And that whole system, again, I give gratitude to the fact of what has happened. Others may perceive it differently, but when you're in a place of giving gratitude to what has happened, that's not to discredit the fact of how both light and dark has a coexist, meaning that those that play a part with getting their hands dirty than those that kept their hands clean, those that had blood on their hands and those that didn't. But those that didn't still sacrifice the fact of keeping their lineage, keeping their families, doing what they could to be a part of what's to come now. So even with those that did play a part in having the blood on their hands and all that, all those things now are being brought to the awareness, the corruption, the hidden corruption and the agendas, the connection to money and power. This will create these radical changes that's happening right now, not only globally, economically, but in humanity. So this is why we're realizing how a lot of us are connected in our past lives or even connections with a lot of people karmically. And I've expressed this to people, how it's it's the importance of seeing the origins of this world being that it was of a woman, a melanated woman. This is scientifically, you can always Google this. And now it's all coming out. But at the same, because every great leader, every great man or woman had to come here from a woman. This is the process of the returning of what we know as the Ankh, the life, because again, the Piscean age was, I believe, now we're in the Aquarian age, is more of the spiritual, the humanitarian, and due to the upheaval, the radical changes, the Pluto return having to do with Pluto is more centered around like how death not only just meaning physical, but the spiritual aspect of how those that are enlightened or aware what the physical death actually means. So, and then you're talking about the old narrative being dismantled, then the rebirth of a new way of being. This is why a lot of what has happened, you have to see that everything that even from this Pluto return is so vital, it's so important, because if this was built on Cancerian energy, maternal energy, emotions, nurturing, all those things, look at how it's been the total opposite of that. And the vocal point of who it's been on. This was a corrupted system that was dedicated to destroying. When you look at the Jim Crows and all this stuff, it was dedicated and prone on destroying the image of what some may call the Black family or the original family or the original everything, even if it has to do with the indigenous people here that was already here, even those who migrated here, all of which who were different shades, all of which, again, if you look, this is why when you look at Cancer and energy, or Kepri, and then Capricorn, they're polar opposites. Both are ancestral. Because again, Cancer is connected more of the mother energy. When you look at maternal, magic, the matriarchal, MA, this is all having to do with Big Mama. This is why now, a lot of which I learned even in my experience, my connection to the pain that I went through with women was all so important now to this very moment, coming for a cycle to realize having the pain now to gain the knowledge, awareness, and wisdom on my role. Not your role, but knowing my role into creating something that is more harmonious, peaceful, bliss, standing in that power, not living in fear. Because again, if you're looking at a system built on corruption and the agenda, it was to keep that narrative and people in that loop. Now, this is why people are seeing, the importance of the family dynamic, the family structure. And it's not just people of darker shade. It's other people, too, that realize even their parts. When you're talking about kids and the drug system, school system, all these things are the highlight. When you're talking about shootings and all these things have been accounted for, people. You're seeing the corruption around money, the school. If you're talking about a foundation, that means all things built in that 248 years up to this very moment. And to this very moment until, November 19th of 2024. If you want to look at that year, because it's different in other areas. Well, Ethiopia per se, because they go by 13 months. But yet and still, The vocal point is because of how this corrupted system has had their hand in so much abusing of power. This is why it goes back to the money and the power. This is why all things are coming to the awareness, even in family dynamics, because of the programming your grandmothers and your great grandmothers, your fathers, who have used money because of what they learned in their conditioning and the spell that they were under, use carry those energies, those spiritual attachments, those entities with them until it stopped with you. This is the dismantling. There's an African proverb that specifically says that the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth, to feel the warmth again. Do you know what that means? Think about how, and when we're talking about a village, those of you that know ancestrally, when they said another African proverb, it takes a village to raise a family. It takes a village to raise a child. This is why a lot of us now are reconnecting to our ancestral lineages, because of a corrupted system was specifically built upon division, having you seeing just colors, division, dividing you, and then the spiritual aspect is showing, this is what Big Mama is on a soul level, to show us how we're all connected. So you have to see the dismantling, the corruption, the mental illness around this shit, to now see what you were affected by, what your, Cancer representing the emotional depths, emotion like ocean, the emotional depths. So if this place has been created on that, then seeing how you've been manipulated through your emotional attachment as a people to the idea of money, material gain, and all these things to feel a sense of acceptance, rather than seeing the importance and the misconception of Cancer itself, or Khepri. When we're dealing with mother, we're talking about an internalized, a soul aspect, a spiritual aspect, has to do with everything internally. Emotion, the waters. Mama represents the waters. Water connects us all. Your body is mostly water. Water is energy. Water is alive and well, those that do know. So if the waters are corrupted here, building the dams, building things to control the water systems, the karma that is coming here has everything to do with cleansing all of the corruption, the soil, everything centered around not only the heart and the emotions, the nurturing, everything to do with, that Khepri Cancer energy, to restore the balance, which is the opposite in building a new empire, building a new way, which is the Capricorn. And it's like the emotions going to the depth. It's funny that I'm wearing this shirt. Yo. Cause this is funny. But going to the depths of the water, I'm making the video. I appreciate it. But give me a moment, Tashawn. But going to the depths, that's what Cancer represents. So you got to realize that if a place that has been it's like we're all being faced with our shadow. The Americans now, even people that whoever had their hand in it, and that's not about color. This is about who have had their hand in it. The powers that they used to be as above, so below. And even in the community aspect, this is why a lot of us are in places right now, because a lot of us are having our awakenings or awareness in the family dynamics, community. Look at the word communion, union, U-N-I, union, union meaning one. And really, that's what it's showing, the oneness of all, seeing the bigger picture of all of this. It's why a lot of us are having these betrayals and these you know, what you may call backstabbings, or seeing a lot of corruption, because as higher vibrational beings or beings of love, those that are in tune or becoming in tune, you're reconnecting again from the depths. You got to realize when you're talking about Capri or Cancer energy, you're going not only to the depths of the ocean, you know, the trenches, the darkness, but the Capricorn is the polar opposite. So you're emerging. You're emerging. You're emergence. You're emerging. You know, you're diving at the same time you're emerging as a sea goat, because that's what the sea goat is, Capricorn. But that's amazing, because it's like the sea goat, because I'm like, it's an aspect of the sea, the ocean, but then it's the goat. So it's like both water and earth energy. Capricorn being the earth sign, Cancer being the water. So this is, again, all of us collectively, and then it's bringing awareness to how the focus have being how the family unit, the original family unit, how society, the vocal point has been on pushing the father out, which no one can protect the family, and having mama to be forced to be the provider, protector, all these things, which due to her fear of subconscious fears of her wanting to protect the son, she begins to smother him. And see, this right there creates imbalance, because then when there is a daughter, the princess, she is forgotten about. So she doesn't have direction due to the father being, you know, removed. So this is how everyone plays their role. So a lot of us now are in a place where we're having to see our importance in the role of bringing more of a healthy, healing, holistic approach, due to the imbalance, the corruption that we have not only saw here on this land, but in the family dynamic, seeing how that affected not just you, me, all of us, and how it, again, has held people captive mentally and codependent on a system that they know that is corrupted, and their agenda now can no longer be hidden. People can no longer hide and run. So again, the vocal point of the focus now being no longer disregarding the emotions of our women, because now we're forced to see ourselves. Now we're forced to see how connected we are as the sons and father of the original mother, Big Mama, or seeing how her emotions connects to our emotions, seeing how the traumas that she has experienced on this land, it's also our fucking trauma. That's what, in spirituality, if y'all want to sit here talking about y'all healing, y'all, I ain't got time to be focused on y'all with that bullshit. Like, my ancestors, like, we gonna let you know what it is. So don't come over here if you know ain't no more hiding. You gonna reveal your own self. You gonna reveal your own hand. You gonna dig yourself a ditch coming over here fucking playing. So again, and then that also shows now that you're seeing, and this is what Spirit really brought to me, is that the Aquarian age is more so focused on the spiritual aspect, because the more we get in tune emotionally, the more secure we are within ourselves to not fear how religion was, not all, but how religion itself was used here to keep people focused more externally on something that cannot fulfill them, rather than internally, when you are fulfilled, when you are already whole, when you already are everything that you, in a divine expression, basically. So we're in the grand scheme. It's not basic. forgive me, Spirit. But what else? So again, when we're looking at how the destruction, basically the whole corruption of this is going to destroy itself. What do I mean by that? It's like what it was built upon, if it wasn't built upon truth, now we're seeing the importance of now building foundations upon truth and love, meaning taking into account. This is what evolution is. Because anything that doesn't grow dies. So you're seeing a death to the old narrative, to the old paradigm. It's already been happening. We've been in the age of Aquarius. So those who are willing to evolve mentally, spiritually, will rise with you collectively, will go with you. You'll be able to know who these people are. You'll be able to connect with them. You're on a soul level, on a connection where it doesn't have to be forced. It will just simply be with the flow. And so, because we're no longer in that survival mentality, those of you that do know. This is why Mama is showing us light now, to have more compassion. This is what a lot of Kepri energy is about. Cancer is like, you're having more compassion, your loyalty, your commitment, you're honoring your more emotions, your emotions. And this, again, is the accountability you have, on your actions, on your part. Because in a society or in a place where the mental illness, as you fucking see right now, is easily to point the finger. Like, I don't come over here with that, this person did this person did that. Like, kids don't even do that until it's taught to them. They're just simply innocent. And a lot of which now is the awareness on how moving forward. Like, and there's a lot of transits happening, like, astrologically, but those that do know about this, it's like, being in Capricorn season, this is like legacy right now. Like, what do you want to create before you're no longer in this body? What do you want to leave behind? What are you willing to sacrifice in a righteous way to, know that your happiness isn't dependent on your material gain or what can you accumulate here, but more your happiness that's your birthright, your peace as a woman and or man or whatever you perceive yourself to be energetically, a reflection of the divine, just love. But again, we are breaking out of these spells and dispelling the illusion around racial discrepancies. What else? Just, all these things that have kept people in this loop or kept people under this spell. Like, it's been relinquished, it's been returned to sender, yes, returned to sender. So just know, like, it's about seeing the bigger picture now and knowing how vital our roles are now moving forward. Some people, again, a lot of us are at this place of decisions, crossroads, where a decision will be made. And everyone's not going to have to like it or accept it. A lot of us came here to, I would use the term right our wrongs, but in a sense of like simply live in peace. It's going to be bigger than color, because some people may call the shit white devils. You got black devils too. And I don't mean that term in a sense of like the color, but in a sense, yes. Because you got some people that are so against their own, but collectively, when I look at it, it's like that's their mission. That's their mission, to try to infiltrate and get close. And like, this has always happened up to this very moment. And that's what a lot of us are seeing, is that some of our greatest leaders, they knew their mission. They knew that they were here to do specifically that. They even knew that certain people were going to portray them. A lot of them knew that, but they simply focused on their fucking mission. But is your mission of love or fear? When we're talking about vibrationally, are you living through love? Is your heart as light as a feather? So we're seeing that now, how the hearts are being judged right now. And it's like we're going through that grieving process. Some of us are at different levels. Some of us are at different awarenesses, like consciously knowing that, again, your healing journey happens in layers, people. A lot of you are in family dynamics where you have to see the corruption amongst the family dynamic to now see, when I talk about village, the tribal. You know, you're gonna track these divine partners or connections to where you're going to do something greater for not only yourself but humanity. And as we're talking about humanity, or within your own family lineage that you have created, again, having to track karmic partners, having to track this person, having to track, all these things. Just, again, it's about seeing the bigger picture and seeing the oneness in all of it. And as you elevate, your vibration of love will be like a spidey sense. Because you'll see that your heart is not like everybody's, people. Everyone is not. And a lot of people are not willing to clear that heart space. As much as you're going to see good for some, there's going to be a lot of evil or wickedness because people aren't willing to evolve. And so that's like the cleansing process. That's the karmic process. Imagine a place that was built upon corruption, built upon crazy ass shit. How do you think it's going to be rebuilt? In a sense of like, that's not everyone's mission, but everyone's not going to sit back and be accepting to like being pushed around anymore. People don't have that a lot of these younger kids and a lot of things, they're not living in fear. So are you. You're not living in fear. That was the awakening all about, the grand awakening. And it's now you realizing that's the aspect of the polar opposite of the Cancer and Capri, is that you diving into the depths of your emotional being, learning more about who you are, that connects you to your ancestral lineage. That, especially the maternal, connects you to the matriarchal. That's how I'm able to speak and share these things with you all, because I had to see the dynamics, the corruption, the roles of the mother, the grandmother, the great-grandmother, seeing also that the matriarchal aspect, that's them, but also seeing the patriarchal aspect, which I represent and reflect. Seeing what the conditioning, programming, the survival, seeing what my grandmother, great-grandmother went through, and seeing the betrayal happening within the family, the corruption of I'm talking about the shit go deep. Because it's basically like the misuses of people and their power. Because people have had gifts and spiritual gifts in your family. That doesn't mean they use them for the greater good of all. They use that shit to harm and corrupt people and to keep people in the loop. Yeah. Your family got some of them, you want to call them shamans, witches, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people have knowledge of certain things, but again, it's no longer can be exposed. You could have healers in your family. You could have a lot of things. But then again, you could also have people who use their shit to keep that healer from having more of an impact. But down the greater version of it all now is that people know they can't get in the way of this shit no more. Like, no matter, as you learn more, everything, again, that has been a part, you're going to see why you had to see what it is in your family dynamics. Because you are the phoenix. We are the ones that you could call them chosen ones or whatever it is. We are, and there was a book about this, and it's called, I forgot what it was called, I saw it when I was in Colorado. And it was talking about the phoenix. And there's even a movie about this, like the X-Men. But a lot of that shit is symbolism. A lot of that stuff is symbolism and reflecting who you are, who we are. And a lot of this is what people are coming to this awareness on. They know what their mission is here to do. Your kids, the younger ones, they know what they're here to do. And I'm telling y'all, you rather speak truth to your kids. This is a part of your awakening. You living in your truth is a part of them living out their fucking truth in love and not living in fear, no longer living in that. Why would you want that to continue? Like, there's no going against the grain. You can't unsee what the fuck you saw. A lot of you been had spiritual gifts. Your family and a lot of people been knew you had this. And so it's just been suppressed. It's just, and then the source knew that, the creator knew that it was going to come a moment like this. Even indigenous tribes knew about these moments. Like Google research, they knew about the times where, well, I tell y'all some shit, y'all be like, huh? Yeah, they knew about this. But that's just the evolution of the world, of this realm. That's just what it is. They can call you whatever, but when shit start happening, they're gonna be looking for you. You're not gonna be around, because that's what it's coming to. It's like that movie, what they call it, Left Behind. A lot of us we're going and doing things that others they're not even a part of. And again, a lot of awakenings is going to happen in layers. This is also having to do with what y'all call celebrities and all these other people. These people know who you are. They can't stop the process, because in that process, they're only hindering, and the higher ups ain't letting this shit happen. Like, they're only going to be detrimental to themselves. They gotta watch us. Because if the shit is falling apart, everything it was built upon, all that wickedness and the corruption, who you think they gotta come and watch now? This is divinely orchestrated. This is the beauty of it all. These are celebratory moments, because now people are faced with their reflection. When a reflection of water, you reflect it back to who you are. Everyone's experiencing something. And so, like, they know at the same moment, they cannot touch you. This is why a lot of stuff is becoming more aware collectively in what we're here to do. And it's naturally unfolding in a divine order. And yeah, the healers, the authentic healers, those have done that shadow work. The healers, even those who honor, however you want to title yourself, those who know and aware of what's going on. People can't fuck with y'all, even if they try. That's something that would tear their ass up, and they know that. And this is speaking from a spiritual aspect. Because a lot of people getting their ass taught right now in communities, family, all this. Because you got to realize a lot of people been on this physical, mundane shit. And now the beauty of it is like we're seeing like how this shit is so connected, man. And yeah. So I feel like that's kind of all I'm going to speak about. But just know that there's always a bigger picture. And as much as you think this shit has been together, look at the housing market. Everything that has been built upon the corruption of this shit is being dismantled. Money. Look at how the misuses and manipulation with that. The first shall be last, now the last shall be first. The meek is currently in the process of inheriting what's their birthright, was rightfully theirs. This is what people feared that will come. So if people have been living in these survival moments, there's some people that never experienced that. They preyed on the backs of people who they don't realize have always had a connection with their ancestors and spirit. It's just they had to go through a lot of integration of that. Is that it? Yeah. Oh yeah. Become more aware now. And so, yeah. Don't try to be fooled thinking this some billion trillionaires or whatever they want to call themselves. Yeah, that's U.S. currency in a sense, but look at how the money system in itself, the value of it is changing. Y'all don't be, y'all, hey, get caught up in this material shit because it's first has happened in the spiritual realms or the higher realms. So again, it's the beauty of it all is that all the pain was accounted for. Even what I've experienced, what I've put people through, karma don't miss nobody, but karma is also an energy. And karmically, this is what's happening to the America. So may this message have brought more awareness into what we are currently experiencing. Receive what resonates. And again, learn more about your lineage. This is why a lot of y'all are coming into your awareness on your connections. Oh yeah, let me share this. Your connections not only with this land, but also the connections, in this realm globally on this earth, like what has happened and how certain ancestors came here, certain people came here, certain things, because they knew you were the one that were going to bring that shift and live in that truth and create something greater than for the past lineage and even present and the future generations to come. And so this is why a lot of y'all go through resistance, and resistance comes with family, because you got to realize these folks has been living in survival conditions and living in up under these spells and illusions, delusional, for so long. Then here you come along like, hey, you challenging their whole fucking narrative. You challenging their whole concept of life. Elders too. Yeah, you been there. What? They 40, 50, 60, then you could be like an ancient soul. Or you could be a soul that like, hey, bro, hold up, bro. This ain't what it is, bro. I'm trying to show y'all like this what's finna happen. This is what's been created. So in that process, you're going to have some that say, which they won't even be able to be in your presence some of the times. Or you're going to be in the energy to where it's like that love, that vibration, your light is going to expose their character flaws, or just who they are or who they pretend to be. It's the mental illness. Everybody's not meant to be a basketball player. Everybody's not meant to go to these so-called Olympics. Everybody's not supposed to be a part of that corruption. This is why your spirit don't try to conform. Because you're here to change, not all. You're here to create it. You got some that will die in along with it because they're attached to the idea of that. You got some that will, support you. You got some, that's just what it is. You knowing thyself, knowing what your purpose and your mission is what's vital. When you see that, you'll realize that comes with hatred. You'll see why it's meant for these people to hate what you're doing and dislike you in every way, because it has nothing to do with you. But the bigger picture show you that it's just what it is. No one can stop it. No one can stop nothing what the Creator has set in place. Because again, this is why a lot of y'all are being called to have clear these karmic cycles, to go through these things now, to position yourself or put your family, future families or tribe, or to be connected to other lands, to live peacefully, to eat authentic foods, to create a different narrative, to go build your own schools, to go create whatever reality that your heart desires. Because people are so desperately trying to hang on by a thread. This shit is like this right now. If I had a piece of string, it's like, you got to look at the heartbreak, the pain that has been upon this land. How can that be ignored? And people not expecting people to rise up in their truth and love? Because if it was created on the matriarchal, that has everything to do with the mother. And then, this is why I tell women, take into account your responsibility. This is why a lot of y'all are being faced with your inner work and shadow work right now. You see, your accountability on how you speak to your kids, which are the future generations, and what you speak on them will determine if that fruit prospers, because that is your seed, how you speak to your sons. And same thing with this is to take into account that everything begin matriarchally. If that's a word, yeah, beginning with the woman. This is why you see bits and pieces now, everything coming to the light, that the original of everything, when you're speaking about the Trinity, the original Trinity, the woman got to be in there somewhere. How did we get here? Everybody came through what? Again, I'm not finna debate with people about stuff like this. This is not a debate anymore. And the truth of all is where's the love in all of it? And if I look at the origins of everything, who has shown me the love the most? In the sense of, if I'm reminded of the love, the unconditional love or genuine love, the nurturing aspect, everything that kind of connects me to my spiritual gifts and emotions, women have taught me that. So, just saying. And this is why my focus is, again, you coming over here, we talking about healing. Look the fuck what's happening here. Your mission may be different. Individually, yeah. But collectively here, we're healing. We're healing. We facing these traumas. We facing these things. And now the solution is, okay, there's a lot of problems out here. Okay, now what's the solution? Same thing with people. If it means closing karmic cycles, that's what's going to happen with your family or certain people. Not all of them. But you're going to see why those boundaries are very vital. You're going to see how choosing love or choosing to stand in your truth is very vital. Some of you are going to see why it's not meant for a lot of you to, doesn't mean just because you don't have biological children or have had kids, doesn't mean you're not a mother to someone just by how you don't speak. Like your presence in itself, who you are in itself, is still plays a role in all of this. Even fathers, you don't have to have kids, or have, did that with someone, but still, bruh, a lot of you still play a masculine role or some type of role in this. Again, this is just what it is. I'm not here going to debate about people, how they live their life and what they live past. It's either for, this Aquarian age is about humanity. It's in a sense of like, it's for the people. We are all at different stages. This can be triggering for someone. Some of us it will resonate with. At the same moment, again, doesn't mean that person won't get to this place. That person won't get to this place, but at the same moment, it's what it is. And what I'm seeing, the judgment is by the work of the man's hands or whatever they do. So there is no really escaping the reality of like what's happening here. And the restoring balance of what has happened. And then the matriarchal mama, big mama, taking her rightful place. So, empowerment. So, choose wisely. Peace and blessings. Shalom.